Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of The Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today I'm looking at the Star Wars Titanium series Naboo Patrol Fighter. Now this ship was first seen in a video game entitled Star Wars Episode 1 Battle for Naboo, released around the year 2000. Now, the fact that we even have this model is very interesting. First of all, it is a repaint of the original Naboo starfighter. There's not any differences whatsoever besides the color scheme. But what really is interesting to me is the actual ship this is based on is the NX police cruiser, which was seen in Battle for Naboo. And it looks nothing like this. The police cruiser basically had no heat sinks. The tail was almost non-existent. It was, I would say, more condensed. The engines on the sides were fatter. And it just looks like a completely different ship. And one part of me is kind of bummed that we never got that ship from the game. But the other half of me is going, well, you know, Hasbro did give us a repaint, so it's better than nothing. Now, enough of me yapping, I just wanted to hit you in the face with some fun facts. But anywho, back to this particular ship. For its size, it's 3 1/4 inches long, which is pretty cool. So you guys know the drill by now. We're going to take a look at the mold, the paint, put on a stand, compare it to some other ships, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. Alright, let's get this review started by looking at the mold. Like in all my ship reviews, I will go over all the major sections of the vehicle, and then we'll get a nice close-up look to see all the finer details on this baby. So let's begin. First of all, we have our engines, we have our heat sinks in the back, laser cannons on top, looking really good, our cockpit and astromech. Then we have our tail section, looking good, and minor line work. On the bottom, little gimmick here, we'll look at that later. Couple screws holding it together, peg port for our stand, copyright crap, landing gear, we'll look at that later. And then in the front, we have our torpedo tube. So all in all, that covers all the major sections of the vehicle. So now, let's get a close-up look. Alright, having our closer look, let's begin with the front of the ship. We can see our 2 recesses here for the laser cannons. If you look real close, you can definitely see 2 barrels there. Then we have our recesses going out. So that's pretty awesome. Then besides that, we have a lot of line work. Coming down to the pylons here. Looking good. I think they came out great. Lots of little details and lines. For this side, same. Pretty cool. Now coming down the body, there's not really much to talk about. We do have some lines recessed in. But for the most part, it's just a bunch of curves and angles. Pretty organic looking. I love it. Translucent cockpit. We have our astromech with some details on there, as you can see. It's molded eyepiece, and I believe that might be its holographic projector right there. Pretty cool. Little scratch on the top. But awesome. I wasn't expecting that. I never noticed it before. Now the gimmick here is you can push it down and then push it up. So pretty sick. But coming down the tail, we do have a little line here. But besides that, nothing really on the top. Turning it over, we do have some lines down here. Beautifully done. It is a rubbery material. Coming down to the bottom, we have our gimmick for the astromech. Some beautiful line work here. Looking good. Peg port for the stand. Screws holding it together. Right here, we do have our torpedo launcher. Looking good. Then we have our landing gear, which we'll look at in a few. But all in all, some beautiful details down here. Looking sharp. Then looking at the wings again, or pylons. Some great line work coming down here. Nice, again, the torpedo launcher. I love the design here. Pretty sick. Then we have copyright crap. Released in 2005. Some more recessed lines. Screw on the engine. Another landing gear. Pretty cool. Coming down to the heat sink. Nothing really to write home about. Pretty blah. We do have line work around the engine. Looking good. And in the fronts. Nice. And that's the same on this side. No difference really at all. Now before we move on, I want to talk about the landing gear. Just pull them out like so. They're not very hard to get out at all. That's pretty awesome. These can go a little bit further down. There we go. And then they just fold in. Pretty nice. And that does it for the mold. All in all, I have to say I'm pretty happy with this. I love the line work. Nicely done with the landing gear and little astromech gimmick. They didn't have to do it, but I'm glad they did. So now let's take a look at the paint, which I think is a little interesting. And now looking at that paint on the Naboo Patrol Fighter. First up, we have a nice metallic blue. Beautifully done. You can see the glitter in there. Pretty awesome. And one thing to note, here we have the diecast section. And then back here is a rubbery plastic for the tailpiece. The paint matches exactly. Something to keep note of. A lot of companies today can't get that right. So well done. Next we have a nice silver. Beautifully done. You can see there's no bleeding between the blue and silver really. Fantastic job. Really came out great. You know, while we're down here, we do have gray for the landing gear. Back on top, you have a nice, I would say, copperish color. Metallic on the fronts of the engines. Now in the back, they tried to imitate that. And to my eye, it looks almost like a pink rose, if you want to call it that. But it is metallic gray, which has a hint of, I would say, some sort of red or something, but you guys could see what I'm talking about. Almost a little orangey. And speaking of orangey, right here where the laser cannons are, it does, to my eye, look black, but when you look close, it is dark gray, and then they take the paint and they smear it this way, and it has the same effect as these two, where you sort of get some sort of orangey color. Pretty interesting stuff. And then we have our astromech with red, and there is a little scratch right there, but pretty good. And that does it for the paint. You know, on the whole, this is a beautiful looking ship in my opinion. The metallic blue, the silver, it works so well together. Also, I do like the fronts of the engines. My only issue so far is the aft sections right here next to the heat sinks. You know, they painted it with that gray, trying to imitate the front here. And it works a little bit, but to me, I don't get it. If it was up to me, I would have made these die cast and painted the backs the same as the front, and it would have been perfect. But besides that, I'm really happy with this so far. So let's put this baby on a stand, compared to some other ships, and then we'll be done. And just like other titanium ships, it comes with a cool stand, peg it in the port like so, and just like that, you're good to go. And now for a quick size comparison with the Naboo Patrol Fighter seen in the center. On the left hand side, we have the Naboo Starfighter. Really cool ship, but as you can see, they are the same exact mold, just different paint. And on the right hand side, we have the Jedi Interceptor. Some great looking ships here. And for an added size comparison with the Naboo Patrol Fighter seen on the left, on the right hand side, we have the Hot Wheels Star Wars Starships Collection Naboo Starfighter. And that does it today for my review of the Star Wars Titanium Series Naboo Patrol Fighter. You know, ever since I played Battle for Naboo, I wished I would have a miniature of the NX Police Cruiser. I was hoping Micro Machines would do it, but alas, they never did, and technically no one ever has. However, the Titanium Series did give me this, the Patrol Fighter, which is really close. Even though it is a repaint of the Naboo Starfighter, I am happy to have it in my collection. First of all, the mold is beautiful. Nice aerodynamic curves, great recessed line work. It's awesome. And the best part of it is the paint. We have the beautiful metallic blue and that silver. They work so well together in my opinion. And you can't forget, it does come with that cool stand that unifies it with the rest of the collection. So that's everything I have to say about this beautiful ship today. If you enjoyed the review, hit that like button. And if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody.